John, Fiona, Ellen, Amy Kemp, Dave, Dan, Brian Scott, John B. Okay,
Board of Ed, Mr. Berger, Mr. Linko, Mr. Corey's on the phone, Mr. Prentice is on the phone.
I know.
Gary's on the phone, Mr. Kisco, Ms. Richardson, Ms. Toler, Ms. Lebowski, Ferguson, and Barlow.
okay, thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Pat, second. Armand? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next one, approval of the minutes that you have for September 15th. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
John? Second? Second, Fiona? Discussion?
Staying, actually staying.
We are staying, okay? Kathy? Any others? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Public participation? Anybody from the public? Okay. Update on phase 2 bidding. In your packet, is
And
it,
I'm sorry, so the people on the phone can't hear. That's it. The people that are called into the line.
sorry,
Mario's still trying to get into it.
I think Mario's on the phone.
yeah, Mayor's on the phone.
They're all on the phone. Oh, he's trying to get in on his phone.
Oh, you can call me and put it
They're all
on.
texting.
Oh.
First call just dropped, she's gonna call back.
Is it the 425-436-6343 that they're supposed to be on? That's the one they're all on.
The access code is 22558. Correct.
Yep, that's what they're all in. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
Here, so they won't be-
Right.
Same.
Are you volunteering, Scott?
Oh, no.
I'll just try to call them all and merge it and put it on speaker.
Frustration of the moment.
I'm gonna call you guys and merge the call and put you all on speaker. Because it's-
That's what we need to- Survey's kind of-
Thankful.
Yeah.
So. Hey, we're having technical difficulties, so I'm just gonna put you guys on my desk on speaker. Yeah. So Mario needs to go. Ed,
Yeah.
could you call call Mario
Yep.
on yours and put
Yep,
him on
yep,
it? Because I think I
no
can
problem.
only do 3.
No problem.
Or, yeah, 3. He's my maximum. Can you guys hear okay? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on mine so you can hear it if we're having technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you guys. Trying to get Mario. Who's on first?
Imagine if we didn't have phones.
Good thing we're problem solvers.
Mario, okay? Okay, okay.
We're gonna do this.
No, he has his lights on. So the first order of business, the update on the phase 2 bidding. I just want to compliment the group because we spent many hours, Mario and I, with Amy, Dave, and Dan and John to go over everything. VE met with all the bidders and so forth. And as you can see, we are currently on budget. We did make 2 additional changes. We did add additional 50, we took additional 50,000 from ONG's contingency. 500,000.
I'll take 50,000.
No, 500,000, which leaves them 4,129,243. We did take 697,035 from 033 from owner's contingency, which leaves us 3,173,232. As I said last, yes,
Is that 697 or 597?
597.
Oh, she says 5. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I think. And we, as again, I said in our soft costs, we had a miscellaneous of 800,000, which we're not touching. That could be added into contingency, which brings that contingency up to 3,973,232. So we still, as you can see by the second and third page, there are a number of items that are deferred because we did not have any, what would you say, Dave, any,
Quite enough.
not enough information. So what I am proposing, I haven't told any of them yet, that the SLAM, Amy, Dave, Dan, myself, and Mario will meet on whether every week or every other week to update all those deferred items. Because those deferred items then becomes credit, and if, and credits come in, our contingency goes up. So we'll meet every week or every other week and so forth. So, and I know I spoke to Amy that she's starting with the group to make sure we have all that information. Because there's a couple of items that could be a little high for us to take, not high, for us to take. So it's, so we'll get those. But I just want to again compliment, we spend many hours together, huh, Dan? A few hours together. So,
Getting to know you.
yeah, not too much. No.
Yes.
And I just want to compliment Dave because he did pay for lunch a couple of times.
Right.
Wow.
I couldn't follow with the numbers, the first one you were saying.
Okay,
I couldn't find them.
they're not there.
Oh,
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
We got the 50,000.
Yeah,
So,
500,000.
and we got the 597.
Not, I'll update it, but I didn't have time to update it. It's because we're taking it from the top. The bottom is taking it from the top, so I'll do it slow. The FF&E tech. If you look at the
Yeah.
top, was 6,730,750.
Yeah.
Now the new number is 5,650,000.
And that's because, if I can interrupt.
Yes,
Okay, so if you take the FF&E technology line item that's worth 6,730,000 in the upper right. And so if you take from that number the two
savings items from the grouping below, 580,750 and 500,000 directly below it. You're taking 1,080,750 off your 6,730,000 number to get you to roughly
5,650,000.
5,650,000.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay,
And it's very similar that if you see in the third row down on the right is the O and G CM contingency.
yeah,
That by contract is a 3% figure, which works out to 4.6 million.
Yep.
But we take 500,000 off the contract amount. So that's where Ed had mentioned our new CM contingency falls down to 4.1 million. 4,129, 245.
And then the last one is the owner's contingency, which shows you as 3,770,265. And we're taking 597,033, leaves us with 3,173,232. So we're still,
Plus 800.
no, not yet, but I told them, yeah. But still, we worked, the group really worked hard. And we still have 19 items to review. I think it's 19 items that we're looking at for additional credits. So I just want to make two comments. One, when the state said to us, you were very proactive in going after 20 million. What's happening now at the state, a lot of districts are trying to go back to the state because their budgets are over budget. We were, even though we went through hell with letters and all of that and so forth, but it paid off, I think, so other districts are in trouble. And as the district, as they said, when we were at the meeting, you were proactive in getting the 20 million, and we want to thank the taxpayers for seeing that we could use that money for what's happening. So, but we'll give you more updates if we hear from other towns, their problems. And maybe they'll hire all of us to solve their problems.
Yeah, started something.
It's funny, I should tell you a story. The superintendent of Stanford called me. She wanted me to work there part-time. I can't drive to Stanford. So we're talking about the building committee, and she says, we've never gotten paid. We haven't gotten paid. So I said, well, we've been getting paid. I just got another payment. We'll go over that. Well, maybe you can help us to get paid. So, right, yeah, so we are very lucky with the group we have, the Board of Ed, the committee, our team, working hard diligently. And the state finally is, helping us, which is great. Wow. Okay. Do you want to make any comments with this, or do you want to go over?
While we're on bidding, I guess I just want to explain what I
Okay, Dan wants to explain what he distributed along.
Okay, so yeah. Right, so if you recall, 2 weeks ago, we let you know that our bid packages, the vast majority had come in, and that we were struggling with a budget overage. At that time, we presented our list of proposed BEs, and as Ed mentioned, we've really been crunching over the last 2 weeks to come up with more ideas, and then go back to the trade base to get values set asides for those value engineering ideas. Since that time, we had 3 bid packages remaining to bid. They have all come in now. So the numbers that you have all been bid. Your project has been completely put out to the street and completely received. And so last time I distributed for you individual bid pack results. So as part of our just due diligence and how we put our package together going forward, I combined all that information into one master sheet. So that's all this represents, is a list of every bid received in the first column lists all the bid packages and all the contractors that bid. Their base bid is in the second column. All of the alternates, as you can tell, there's what we have on the first page, we have up through B7, which represents building 7. And then if you turn the page, it goes all the way to 19. I'd like to express appreciation to SLAM because as part of our effort to come up with value engineering ideas, we added 11 through 19, I believe.
A couple of days
A
of
couple of A's and B's in there, right? In order to secure best bid pricing on some of the deducts for the aluminum package. And so that's why there's so many. So the page 1 and page 2 are the first bid packages from 2.02 to 2.09T. So page 2 is just results from bid package 2.08, which is aluminum, and all their deducts that we have now for consideration. So page 3 lists the rest of the bid packages, 2.10 down to 2.31. And again, you move to the right to see the values they submitted on bid day for alternates. So bid part is done. The numbers are firm from the trades. As Ed mentioned, not only did we do the VE over the last couple of weeks, but we did the scope reviews for the MEP packages, drywall package, a couple of the general trades package, a couple of high value items that we wanted to vet out concerns. But we are in a position now to, with the balanced budget, as Mario or as Ed described for you, that we're at a point where we need to ask of this committee the approval to move forward with motions to award to our critical path trades. So we're, maybe on the agenda soon or next is approvals to release to concrete, structural steel, waterproofing, and joint sealants, air vapor barrier, and then MEP 21, 22, 23, 26, and site work. All those trade packages have been vetted. We've gone through our list of scope instructions. We've gotten concurrence from the trade. We have confidence in their understanding of the documents and the pricing that they've submitted. Our next action over the next 2 weeks is to move forward the notices to proceed, get the trades moving on the critical paths that we have, which is concrete and site work, structural steel, critical to get the shop run process engaged. And then I'll be doing more scope reviews and getting contracts out to these trades. Yes.
What is MEP?
Mechanical, electrical, plumbing. It's an acronym for, really includes fireproofing or fire protection, excuse me, your sprinkler system. Is our MEP.
Scope reviews probably took us, them, and I was just there with Mario, probably 2.5 hours each.
I try to keep it under 2. I'm not always able to do that because, this is nice because it's kind of old school. We've gone back to face-to-face. It's a preference of this committee. And so it's nice to see the contractor come in. They enjoy the face-to-face. We're building the relationship already. We're bringing principals in so that we know we have the attention of the contractor base. So, that's something we kind of got distance with some of the.
Yeah, like yesterday, we had the owners come in.
Yep.
Father and son.
Almost a $7 million contract. And so it keeps us busy. It is very timely because getting these trades, they're all very anxious to lock in their pricing. Pricing is moving rapidly. And so although we can hold on to their bid and not award for 90 days, they're very anxious. They're hitting me every day to see what status is.
See, what we told the bidders here, if we award tonight, we go to city council on Monday, Tuesday they start, right? Especially.
Yep.
Well, they start with all the paperwork, right? They get a limited notice to proceed. I think we talked about that in the last meeting, right? Kind of starts the clock of saying, get all your paperwork in, and then, then they need a fully executed contract before they actually step outside.
But site work,
No boots on the ground until they have an executed agreement and insurance in place. The critical path for us is the shop drawings on structural steel. And actually, we already have shop drawings approved for the reinforcement for concrete due to the, foresight of the team. Those are already in place. So it's at that point that they actually release rebar for fabrication. Site excavation for foundations is the third week of October. The concrete trade starts on the job site first week of November. More concrete out there.
A lot of it.
Yeah, we have a lot of it to pull. And one thing, I guess, I don't know if I'm following the agenda, but another part of the decisions that this committee makes is the alternates. And so as part of our value engineering, we've already predetermined or hope that this committee agrees to 2 deduct alternates that were included in the bid documents. One is attached to the MEP trade or the mechanical, the plumbing and HVAC, and that's to use a Allerton building management system in lieu of a Schneider building management system. And the second is to eliminate the ground lightning protection pins on the roof of the building. Now, those two have to be acknowledged by this committee and confirmed, in addition to, approval to move those decisions to Board of Ed and City Council.
Would
So-
that be only those two or all of the ones you have on the list?
Well, you have to
Just
do,
those two.
no, those two are the only
Those are the two for today.
the two.
Meaning that those are alternates that apply to the packages that we're recommending today. But there are other alternates, but they don't fall under the auspices of any of the contracts that we're recommending tonight.
Perfect segue to something I forgot to mention. The last page is all of the alternates listed out for you, and what their values are.
Do you have the alternate for that lighting?
What number it is? It's, what is it,
Before.
Oh.
B4.
And why is that
What was the first
a
one?
deduct?
Allerton people.
78,000.
Why?
So does that B4, that 78,000
Yes.
come off of the, when we make motions, come off of the original bid amount?
What will happen is those will be incorporated in the actual contract that gets released to the trade. So the contract will actually carry a dollar figure that represents their base bid and any accepted alternates from this meeting.
So their contract in the case of that one with the electrical, the lighting protection.
Yeah.
We will award them a contract for $70,000 less than the basement.
So why,
Yeah, I think you're gonna ask the same question. Why
are you
is it not necessary? to have
right for
those?
that lightning protection?
Yeah.
So it's a decision to be made. The lightning protection does protect the building. It has it has a purpose. It's not something that is on this building. It's not on every building. So it was low hanging fruit as far as, the building still has a good ground. There's surge protection devices that you have within the building. A lot of your panels are protected better than the panels that were constructed even 10 years ago. They have surge protection devices so that even the panel will pop ahead of any circuit breakers popping. It's certainly open for discussion. I don't know if you got CES's comment, if they were willing.
Well, I mean, it's really not their decision,
Right.
but it is sort of a belt and suspenders approach because it's a good to have. But as Dan mentioned, a lot of your systems are already protected separately. This is
On
just
the,
more
on
of
the
a
con, I mean,
overall-
I'll argue pros and cons for you. Your building is tall. Your building is a little taller than anything around. You will have some light poles potentially out in the ball field that will be slightly taller. And John may be able to describe if he's ever had a lightning event near or here in specific. Those, I mean, that's really how that happens. It's a toss up. It's a good item to have. It's not a required item. It doesn't take away from program, which is if we were going through the value engineering, we were looking at any way that we could absolutely not affect program. And then, of course, we want to give you the best building that you can have within your budget.
a little bit of a lot of effect.
It is.
Do you feel lucky?
Well, a question, let's say we approve the deduction, can we come back? If we, within,
Once you would just defer the decision. Once you make the election, you can't go the other way. But we did speak to the contractor. He will allow you to take that deduct for 9 months. So if you wanted to offset that decision, wait till, we get through what I described to him, wait till you get through foundations. Then we'll decide if we need to take it or don't need to take it. I mean, a big part of the project, when you look at where change order potential or exposure is in the groundwork. Once you get through the groundwork, once you get to a structure, then the size of the changes gets smaller typically, and the rate gets slower. So that's where people are always feel more comfortable, spending contingency money is when they get past some of the big early hurdles.
So I have a question. So would we be relying on devices to keep that protection, or is there going to be something that would have been built in that would have grounded the building more that we're just not doing?
So the building is grounded,
Right.
utilizing the grounding system that's built around the structure and pinned to the earth. What lightning protection provides you is pins on the roof, multiple, like any high device all along the perimeter of the roof. It's to grab that lightning strike instead of it having just randomly hit anywhere on the building. It's going to attract that lightning bolt, grab it, and pull that energy directly down into ground. So you didn't have it,
Small
and you say,
little, looks like antennas
Yeah.
that stick up above the roof line so that lightning goes to the highest point.
Right.
It goes to those instead.
So what if we don't have it?
so yes, it happened to strike air handling unit because it's the top of the building or the roof screen structure. The roof screen is tied to the building steel, so it's going to pull that energy right down to the earth. If it hits an air handling unit, some of that energy is going to get pulled into the structure and not be part of that ground. And then
Probably blow up that.
potentially,
Yeah.
I'm not an electrical engineer, so I don't want to speak, as if I have expertise in I just know from general knowledge.
The lighting protection system as designed doesn't go on the equipment though.
No, it
So,
doesn't.
so it still
It goes
doesn't,
around the roof.
right, it goes on the roof, but the equipment is higher than the roof parapet, so there's still just as likely of a potential that the lightning is gonna strike the equipment that's,
You put pins on.
They put pins on the.
They do?
They put pins on the corners of
Do they?
it. Yeah,
The corners of the air.
wherever the highest points are, we put the little
In
pins.
this case, it would be on the corners of the screens.
Yeah, typically what you would see on all of your air handling units is they would put at least one pin, sometimes two, depending on the size of the unit, so that if the lightning strike came towards that high section and grabbed that pin, that they get hurt.
No, we're gonna have property insurance on the building. Is that general covered, get a rider for? Property insurance?
we have insurance, we haven't had a lightning
Right.
here in this building.
Does it cover through insurance?
Yeah.
You are, the hardship is the delay in getting the unit back to running or getting computers going again.
It,
to a
uh,
server.
When I was in Region 15, we had lightning things. July 4th, lightning hit the building. We have a pool there, hit everything. The water in the pool went right to the basement. So it hit everything, so everybody has coverage, 1,000 deductible, and they fixed everything else. Even though we had lightning rods in the pool.
It goes for
Whatever you want, if you want to wait 9 months and
Is there any risk to the people in the building or like on the campus? to
is there
not
any
have
risk
that?
to the people in the building?
Or like the soccer players are playing, would that prevent like a person getting
Never
struck,
heard
or
of a
is it
personal
really only
experience
for our
where
equipment?
anybody's ever gotten hurt within the structure. In my
No, I mean, the
opinion.
lightning.
I mean, my husband got hit by lightning once.
In the building or outside?
Inside of a building.
Oh, then we have a.
But that's the
that
thing.
knowledge.
that's.
Firsthand knowledge.
It's just a crazy story.
My son got struck by lightning
Also,
Really?
outside the house, yeah.
yeah, so I don't think that changes any chance of any of that.
It wouldn't protect any exterior.
No, no, no.
No, it doesn't protect the people on the fields or anything like that. It's protecting the equipment that you own on the inside of the building.
This is also already because I know the homeowner says, because like the garage actually traffic light, but otherwise it would be necessary.
That's true.
Just,
Still an issue.
I give you a brief story. In my former district, we had lightning protection in the high school. They took a lightning strike. It still took out air handlers.
Really?
So what you're trying to do is take a force with extreme amounts of energy and try to get it to the ground as quickly as you can to prevent it from doing other damage to the building. But most times when you take a lightning strike to a building, it's going to cause some sort of other damage to the building because it's an extreme force to control.
Just one comment, we're gonna know any more 9 months from now than we know now,
Just how much money we have.
Yeah.
or we're just delaying the
Well,
decision.
but to that point, it's, we are at 9 months from now, 1/3 through the heavy construction.
And I have to just correct my statement too, that I made about that there are no other alternates that affect these packages. That's not true. There are other alternates, but I think at this point, we're saying that the decision on those alternates can be deferred. And then, because there are some add alternates for things like the greenhouse, the terrace, we have the ability, and I forgot what the duration of time is.
9 months. It's in our.
Right, 9 months.
Right, so we have up to 9 months to accept these other alternates. So I think where there is a question, we can just simply defer acting on that alternate so that you can award the contract without accepting the alternate.
Now, the
So, but you
exception to that
would
is,
award the contract, but not include the,
that is the case with regard to the lightning protection. The BMS system is integral to the package that we're awarding and their processing getting started. So that decision does need to be made today.
that's
The
the
next one, just to
Allerton
give you the,
HVAC?
I'm sorry,
Correct, that's the Allerton HVAC.
Correct.
controls?
Right.
Okay.
just to give you the heads up, in 2 weeks when we meet again, we'll need to make the decision on the terrace. That's an add alternate, that's to include a walking outdoor path and patio area outside what is the faculty dining.
Right, it's like a little porch.
Right. That's structural steel, so in 2 weeks, we'll have their submittals in and we'll need to let them know if they're fabricating that or if they're not fabricating that.
And if we do delay for 9 months, the bid price is held
Firm.
for them.
Fixed, yes. Your deduct is what it is.
So in your package, there are two scenarios, one that the building committee has to do and one that the board of ed has to do. So there are two motions.
Okay, can we-
Yeah.
sorry, I have
No.
one more question. So you have a deduct alternate, so you go out to bid and the person would bid it without that 78, and say that, whatever.
Actually, they assign a value to it on their bid form. Those are the values that are shown here. So the bid form has a spot for them to tell you what their base bid is, and then a list of all the alternates. And then they provide a breakout price for that.
So additions and
The
deductions. Okay, so then for 9 months,
You can,
you can award the bid to that person, but those that are added and subtracted
they,
would be,
They would then be issued via a change order rather than just being part of their base contract.
but the dollar value that they included on bid day is the dollar value that you can select for up to 9 months.
and that's the value that
That's
we
on their
put, or
sheet.
they put a separate value. It's
Yeah,
these
and
values,
they put it on their bid form, I put it on a tab,
these forms, these exact,
exact dollar.
got it, okay. Sorry, I just.
No, that's fine.
That's what we
Wrap my
want,
head
that's what we
around
want.
it.
If you got the question, I'm glad you audible it, I'm glad you speak out, because it answers it for anyone else that may not.
Does the terrace have to be decided tonight?
Oh, no, no,
I was
no.
just saying, the terrace is 2 weeks away, though, because we are moving from shop drawing to fabricated.
So when the terrace is mentioned on this letter that has to go to the city, it's just information that it could be added.
Right, you would not select it, you accept or reject it, it would just be left.
Right, that's what Dave was mentioning to me, is the form letter that we have, we're gonna recommend that no action be written, instead of accept, reject, a third column or deferred, a third column that says
Right,
deferred.
that would make it, but not all.
You can't make it too clear.
But if the terrace has to be done in 2
But
weeks.
Attorney's
city
like
council
clear.
would-
I'm sorry?
If the terrace has to be decided in 2 weeks, it would have to then go back to city council.
Well, we are going
Yeah,
back
we
to
have
city
to.
council in 2 weeks.
For more bid
For
packages.
more bid packages.
Right, this process is gonna go like. we
On
have
and
right
on.
now.
We have more silver here too.
I have another batch that I'll do in 2 weeks, and then I'll have another batch I'll do either 2 weeks later or a month later. For all remaining. As we get through all 28 packages.
Right, and if it would be helpful, I certainly would be happy to provide drawings. If the video around the building shows the terrace, so it can help you make that decision if that would be useful for next time.
One more question about the lightning protection. For a building this size and location where it's located within the city, what is the general, what would be the general recommendation that, or what has been done in other projects like this that are still like lightning protection or no lightning protection, or is it like 50/50?
Personal experience, last job I did was in Middletown, in the city, pretty close to the south end, just south of downtown Middletown. They chose not to put it on. I didn't have the expertise to tell them one way or the other. That was their.
There was another large structure like this.
Oh, yeah, no, the stuff wasn't as big as this one. It was about a 210,000 square foot building. But also it was 3 stories.
We can amend the motion to just state defer as far as.
Yes.
It's already written.
Right, just modify the motion to
Yeah.
committee's choice.
For lightning, it's not only the height, it's also are there any oak trees around? It's lightning, oak tree, or.
It could go to a
attracted by
tree.
oak
Yeah, it
trees.
could go to.
It's attracted by oaks,
Right, so if there's any oaks around, there's more chance.
right, everything
Oh, I
along the
didn't know
highway.
that. You mean oak specifically, not just any
Oak
tall
trees
tree?
specifically, yeah.
Wow. I learn something new every day.
Unfortunate knowledge.
Very bad luck.
Personal experience.
Yeah, you have quite a few trees on the property, not too many oaks.
So on the,
Be as tall as.
the first motion is for the building committee, which says motion to approve the recommendation by O&G Industries to award the following phase 2 bid packages to the lowest qualified responsible bidders and to execute the approval to award letter stating the same. The bid package approved to award are as follows. So the first one, if we agree, concrete to Marguerite, the amount of $6,669,000. We have a motion to approve that. Pat, second. Donna? Any discussion? For the building committee, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The next one is structural steel to Berlin Steel Construction Company in the amount of $11,101,800 and withhold decision on alternate 2 at this time. Oh, Pat. Second, Armand. Discussion, building committee. In favor? Opposed? Third one, waterproofing, air vapor barrier and caulking to Gilberto and Sons LLC, the amount of $1,314,518. Have a motion, Donna. Second, Armand. We have to do this separately because of the building and the board and the city council. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Next one, fire protection to Blackwater Services Group LLC, the amount of $1,595,000. Have a motion? Armand, second. Robin.
Can you just call out the like bid package number? 'Cause
Oh, I'm
we're
sorry.
not too familiar with our bid package.
Okay, I'm sorry.
If you don't mind.
No problem.
So which one was the fire?
2.21. You should have it, you have it in your,
It says it right on it.
you have it in here.
This page.
It's in your packet.
got a packet?
I was going by the picture.
Yeah, it's in your packet. It's easier. All in favor for fire protection? The next one is plumbing, 2.22, and HVAC, 2.23, to MJ Daly for a combined bid in the amount of $29,330,000, and to accept the alternate bid to use the Allerton BMS DDC system for a duct of $546,000, and withhold decision on alternate B2 at the time. Have a motion to accept. Donna, I'm on. Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next one. Before we do that, any consensus on the lightning protection?
I don't see any harm in deferring it.
Okay.
See where we are in 9 months.
Does the committee agree with that? So we'll just.
Yeah.
Okay. So the electrical to Paul Dinto Electric Contractors with the base bid amount of $11,697,000
And then skip to and withhold.
and withhold final decision on all alternates at this time. Almond. Second, Pat. So it reads, Paul Dinto with the base bid of amount of $11,600,000. Cross off everything and withhold final decision on all alternates at this time. Okay? All in favor? Opposed? Okay. The last one, 2.31 site work to CJ Fucci Incorporated with a base bid of $17,725,000 and withhold the final decision on all other alternates at this time. Have a motion? Pat, second. Donna? Discussion? All in favor?
Wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Can you just reread it and take out the word other between to withhold final decision on all alternates?
Oh,
Not all other.
all alternates. Okay, sorry.
No, that's all right.
And the one above as well then?
We did that
We
on, we
did
took it
that.
out of the one above.
You did take the other out. okay.
Yep. So everybody approved that. Thank you. Now we go to, yeah,
Oh,
in
do you want to
favor?
read those?
Aye. Okay. The next one is only Board of Ed members. You want to read those, Fiona? Or-
So we'll entertain a motion to approve. I'm gonna call them just by number, understanding that we've all already heard the descriptions. So BPT 2.03. Need a motion in a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion for BPT 205. S.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Jess and Glenn.
Unanimous.
Jess and Glenn.
Entertain a motion for BP 207A.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy and Jen.
Entertain a motion for BP 2.21.
Second.
All those in favor?
John and Kathy.
Entertain a motion to approve BP 2.22. All those in favor?
Aye.
Jess and Glenn.
Entertain a motion to approve BP 2.26. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Was it Glenn and Jess?
Entertain a motion to approve BP 2.31.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Jess again?
Thank you. The next is, you all received the its specs. We made, on the front page, I sent is all the changes. The two big changes are on page 50, which is the construction technology and the auto lab, or the automotive lab. Those are the two ones that are in orange that we put back, as we said, and they're in the drawings.
And everything else is the same?
Same, we made a couple of changes with the square footage and so forth, but everything
But
else,
the areas are still there, there's no
Correct.
deletion or addition?
Right. the only big additions were the auto lab and construction technology. We did make a couple of changes on the locker rooms, the athletic storage, the auditorium grew, and the staff dining room. Any other comments, Amy?
No, it was just to catch up with the new enrollment numbers and then those two additional athletes.
Thank you.
So on this one too, we need two motions. Because the building committee, they agree with the changes, and then the Board of Ed has to agree, because we have to send that minutes and the updated to the state. We need those changes, so when they do the audit in 5 years or 10 years.
We're getting better.
They're getting better, okay. That's that. So could I have a motion from the building committee to approve the updated educational specs dated September 22, 2022? Pat, second, Armand. Discussion? Yes.
So these changes went out September 2022, after the bid packages went out.
No. These
So
changes
were all these structural steel people,
were in the.
my short question is there any of these changes gonna be effective? We're gonna get jammed with change
No.
orders after the fact
No.
because things change?
No. If-
These were all incorporated into the CDs for meetings that we had and presented to this group back in January and February when we redid design development
Okay,
based on the new enrollment numbers.
Okay.
So these changes have been fully incorporated into the project. This was really catching up on paperwork
Okay.
associated in order to provide the state with matching ed specs and drawings.
and-
okay, fair.
Good question, though.
Yeah.
The date is curious.
Yeah, yes.
Another question, so it looks like, and I'm just looking at the high school, I can't remember which one was saying that we started off with 28 education classrooms, and now there's 25, and the square footage allocated for classrooms has gone down by 4,500 square feet. Is that correct? What page are you on? Page 73.
Academic core classrooms are on page 70. Let me look at what you're seeing on page 70.
Okay, 70 is the middle school.
Oh,
So
I'm
I was
sorry,
looking
that's
at
the middle
I
school.
was
You're
at-
right.
yeah.
So on 73, correct, same thing.
Yeah, so actually the middle school ones, looks like the middle school ones were taken down in the last iteration that got voted on.
Right, so in blue, it did get changed. It got changed twice on the high school side, as a matter of fact, because it got changed in blue once and then in orange. But that was based on the enrollment, that's correct.
So but the enrollment went up.
It went up in the middle school. Did it go? Oh, I know what happened in the high school. I'm gonna put on my programming hat and be Amy Christmas. What we did is we further utilized the classrooms. So we were assuming the classrooms would get used 5 times a day. And instead we said, okay, no, they're gonna get used 6 or 7 times a day. And that's, the math just worked out that way. The idea was to not grow the square footage of the building, even though we were adding 2,000 square feet for construction tech and 3,000 for auto. So we had to further utilize the classrooms. And we added a health classroom because we couldn't accommodate that number of students in the 3 health classrooms we have before.
How is a health classroom different than a general classroom?
It's not actually designed different. It still has the same casework and it could be utilized as a regular classroom. It's really about where it's located in the building. So you want your health classrooms grouped with other pathways. And in this case, 2 health classrooms are near the gymnasium, as a matter of fact.
And it's crossed out in the core academic spaces, it says professional learning community faculty, and it's crossed out, but then in the next one it says course.
So in your original ed specs, the faculty rooms were located in this section for academic spaces.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you look forward to or to academic. That's right. They're in here. Let me just find them for you.
It just got moved to a different.
They got moved to a different category. Professional learning faculty room is, it's not in blue, but it's on page 76 under administration and guidance.
Anything that's
And there-
crossed out in that left-hand column just got moved somewhere else.
Not, that's not always the case.
Okay.
Sometimes the ed spec changed and
Okay. I can look. So that number 4 doesn't really mean anything there, and that's on page 73.
so on 73, there were 4 faculty workrooms at 950 square feet. And when you go to 76, there are 3 faculty workrooms at 1,200 square feet each.
Okay. So just,
And so the same approximate square footage. In this case, after the building was designed, it was realized that it was better to have 3 faculty workrooms, 1 on each academic floor.
Page 73, the greenhouse, I know it's alternate.
It is.
Is that the reason, so it's 200 square foot, but is the 200 not brought over to total area because it's an alternate?
Correct. It's not in the ed spec because it's an alternate. So we don't want the state to look at this and say that our building design does not meet the ed spec. So we had to cross it off here. But because it's an alternate, you may end up gaining it back. That space is actually a breakout space, so it's part of the corridor system. And if you were to change it to a greenhouse, it would get a wall and it will no longer be a breakout space within the corridor. It would be its own room. The total square footage remains the same.
Any other questions for the building committee? All in favor of the ed specs? Any opposed? Okay. Fiona, you want to thank the Board of Ed?
Can motion to approve the revised ed spec.
So moved.
Discussion.
Is there nowhere else that we can find classroom space? Did I like? The idea of trying to schedule your entire high school to where every room has to be used for 7 periods a day and no teacher has their own room. That just sounds so unwieldy to me that I don't know it's practical in real life. And maybe there's something I'm missing, but I just can't believe that's, we're gonna start off with that as our baseline.
I give schedulers a lot of credit. It is an amazing art to see the scheduling that gets done in high schools in general. And yes, this will be difficult, as that task is difficult for every year, because you're trying to also accommodate students who are wanting different electives and still have to have certain core classes. So it's a difficult task for sure. But rather than having classrooms empty for 3 periods a day, we're just trying to give you the most bang for your buck and allow you to, you'd still be able to offer the same programs. And you have the classrooms there. You're correct, the teachers will have to move into the faculty workroom on their off times.
There's like what,
But
5
that was
minutes
always-
between
That was
classes?
always the case,
Yeah, that's
it's just
just-
changed by one or, yeah, I don't think that.
So teachers
We
have
were
to be
never
working-
able to give one classroom to each teacher. That's
Much
just
more-
not, the
Yeah.
state doesn't
Much
accommodate
more
that.
lean and efficient building than we're just used to the old school schools, but that's not the way it is.
Well, and the state just,
The state doesn't
with
give
their
you that.
grant, they no longer support that. They are done paying for buildings that are oversized. They won't, that's the problem.
I don't know if I can speak or not, but we do that in our building all the time. There's teachers teaching in an empty classroom for a period. And the teacher goes to a workroom, which I think the workrooms are underutilized. So they go to the workroom. Workrooms tend to be big empty spaces. Sometimes teachers eat lunches in there, but you go in there in one time and there might be 3 people in there. In this giant space that could have been something else. So so we do it all the time. So I personally like that idea because you're not building more than you need. And, you know, I just think it's a
Kind
It's
of
a good
break it down
idea.
some silos too, you know, you're
Yes,
getting
exactly.
everybody out,
and
collaborating.
then people are now
Yeah.
connecting. Yes.
I'm just thinking of the practical aspect of a teacher having to move between that changing time along with all of the students. And then teachers are supposed to be in the room, writing their stuff up on the board, when the kids come in. Like how, I don't know how that in practice works well when everything just has to be scheduled right down to that minute. I just see, I that's concerning to me.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
Probably depends on what you're teaching, honestly, to some degree, and it probably depends on how many kids you have coming in and out of your classroom. You're supposed to be in the classroom reading the kids as they come in, but you're still halfway across the building trying to go to the next, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why we did place the faculty workrooms one every floor,
Yeah.
so that it's convenient for those teachers. It's not meant to be making them run, you know,
And it's not like this
Hundreds
building
of
too, like this building
Yeah.
is so, you know, to get to A to B, it does take a while, but this building is.
yeah,
much-
it's stacked.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think at least each floor has their own faculty workroom. The intention is that those teachers on that floor would utilize that one. They don't need to, but I don't think it's a far walk. The students will be walking much further between classes.
Well, and the size of the classrooms themselves has been reduced as well. Looks like, so this is
So
all gonna
we-
still work with our.
We designed to a square foot per student recommended seat ratio. Classrooms typically are larger now than they were in historic schools because we accommodate space around every chair and every table for handicap accessibility. We advocate for pedagogies that allow the teacher to set up their classroom differently and push furniture around and be much more flexible, and for students to work in groups. So we're very comfortable with the size of the classroom that we're providing for the number of students per class.
Were the original specs larger than the existing square footage of our classrooms now? Do you know?
I don't know your building well enough to speak to that, and I also didn't write the original aspect, so. Sorry.
So,
But you didn't make these decisions in a silo, you consulted
We do,
all the.
right, and we brought that information not only to the administration and worked with everyone during the programming meetings, but I think we presented it at the building committee meetings as well during that programming phase.
so for a 745 square foot room, how many kids fits in that? For
20,
the-
they're all, the classrooms are scheduled for 24 students.
So we have classes right now that are more than 24 students. So that's gonna make a
So-
difference when you start, when we talk about scheduling, that's another, and that's not your problem, but I'm just saying like programmatically, I think that's another hiccup that administration's gonna have to deal with. If now your cap per room, your absolute square footage max is 24. You know what
Not
I'm
true,
saying?
so that's what they're comfortably designed for, and that's the seat capacity that we're planning for. And that accommodates far extra seat capacity for the school in general to allow for growth. If you have 25 students or 26 students in a class, 2 more desks can easily fit in there. We're just not going to provide 26 desks and chairs in every room, because sometimes you might have 20 students in a class and sometimes you might have 26. And so you may one year have 2 extra desks and chairs in a particular classroom, and then move them out the following year because of different classes. And that's okay. We understand that, it's certain classes have more students than others. It's designed to an average.
All those in favor? Are you in favor?
No, I'm not. The reasons that Mrs. Richardson has brought up. I'm not going to endorse this. I voted for it in the building committee because that's a separate set of deliberations. But as an educator, I find it hard to accept these specifications.
So the ed specs have to go to city council for Monday?
No, expects to not go to city council.
Okay, when do we need the ed specs? A month ago, but
Yeah.
realistically.
Yeah.
But, SLAM we presented at your building, Board of Ed meeting back when this change was made, when we were discussing adding the construction tech and auto shop back in. And we presented these changes. So I have that presentation available if you would like me to resend it to your group for consideration. I'm not going to make any changes to it. It's what we presented to you in the past.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to have a special meeting because it's hard because they have some of these people on the phone. I don't know.
And we could represent it here in 2 weeks.
Wasn't this number of 4 classrooms changed for the high school for this one that we're looking at today? Like, some of these changes are in red.
Right,
Those are
so
today's changes, right?
again, this is just catching up with the changes that we have already built into the building for our presentations.
What, like a 6 or 7 month lag on different paperwork time, something like that?
Because
No,
we had
we'll
other
meet,
things to get
we'll
done.
meet before Monday. So Monday.
But, as Amy mentioned, we can represent that presentation that was made to the board of Ed back February. Just
It's the same.
to be clear, it's
Yeah,
the
it's the
same
same.
information.
So
Yeah.
why would we meet
The
again?
decisions were made during the second design development. Do you remember we did design development a second time after the enrollment numbers changed, and once we learned about the referendum passing.
One quick question. So if the discussion is the classroom too small, you increase the classroom size, you need to cut something else. Am I correct? Because you guys stay within the square footage.
Well, I mean, right now, changing that would
Yeah.
mean we'd have to rebid the project. Yeah, this is,
Yeah.
You can't,
yeah,
you can't like change floor plans at this point.
No.
yeah, at the.
I'm just like, again, I think I started around February. To me, just seeing this number, a big change, I don't know when it happened. And reducing the square footage and getting more kids in the classroom, it's like, all right, what happened? I wasn't around in February, I don't think, right? Did I start around
I
February?
think these rooms are bigger than the rooms we have now.
That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
get at. You're seeing
Yeah.
a decrease, but if we started at a bigger place than where we are now, it makes a big difference in the context of what
Yeah.
we're.
The other piece is we're gonna have more efficient furniture. Right now, we have
Yeah.
really old furniture. Where you have desks that can work in groups, that can be
Yeah.
flexible, that can move around. It's gonna be much more fluid and flexible within that classroom space. Plus, they're at least as big as what we have now. So I think we're gonna have a lot more, not a lot, but I
John,
think
do you
we'll have more.
have any idea how big the rooms are now in the school? The lessons?
I mean, I can actually, I'll just open my computer. I can get a square footage.
While she does that, can we talk about what the desks themselves are gonna look like? Are we talking about like those fixed desks that have like the chair and?
No.
stuff?
No.
What is- what
Those
is
don't
being
That'll be a
proposed?
future design phase, and
Uh-huh.
we're gonna go through all of that in detail as a separate phase. So as the building gets closer to being occupied, usually about a year ahead, we'll be designing that furniture package.
What are the options, like, what are you guys putting into schools right now, like that?
I
Those
can show
tables
you
and
pictures.
chairs.
of the schools that went to look at.
Singular desks, sometimes tables that are for two, but usually it's singular desks with chairs.
That provides the most flexibility, so a teacher can choose to have 5 or 6 students in a group, or 4 students in a group, or a horseshoe, or however they want to set up their class.
It's also like a harvest desk.
Traditional rows facing forward for test taking.
Yeah, with the chair inserts onto the top of the desk.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to correct myself. The classrooms are for 25 students each.
I mean, I think knowing how that square footage compares to what we have now is a big piece of it. Would be helpful.
And just for reference, the majority of our classes are 25 or lower. Most of them are in that lower than 24. Some are higher, there are higher ones, just saying,
So we're not.
overall.
I'm just showing her the East Providence ones,
Right.
just because
Yeah,
they're
much more
interesting. and you
Yeah.
look at the difference. in
Well, we have,
size.
yeah, it's very clunky, very
That's
heavy,
because they're
attached.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tables.
right, right. Yeah, to make a long table.
Modular.
Right, right.
It's not that big a laptop, it's here. There's a spot on the laptop.
Do we have this before we can?
Oh, well.
In our current classroom, so.
So that's why this,
So the board will get back to you on the aspects.
Okay.
Kemp's going to count ceiling tiles and figure out the square footage.
They're on hold.
No, because we can't get it done now.
They
We don't have a quorum.
vote.
We can't vote. We don't have a quorum.
If it was unanimous, but now all three of them dropped off. So. It's not that. We're still in time.
Just to break it apart. Just to break it
It's
apart.
fixed, it does not have a,
It doesn't have an auto shut.
correct, correct, just let you know,
They were on.
just let you know. Just let you know, you approved in the ed specs without a auto shop and a construction shop.
Yep.
So if you don't approve the new ones, the state will then deduct
Yep.
the auto shop and the other shop. So that's 5,000 square feet, which is gone, which the city's gonna have to pay for. Just wanna let you know. So it goes to the old ed specs that you approved. Eliminated the two big things you wanted, okay? And if you don't approve them, it goes to the old one, and the city's gonna have to pay 5,000 square feet, which is probably 100%, which is probably $5 million. Okay, just want to let you know about that. Next item. And then is the analysis of progress payments. Just so you know, I received another check from the state for $777,000, which is 91% of the thing. You have it in your item. Again, I will be sending the state another bill on Monday. We are, knock on wood, as my mother used to say, poo, poo, poo. They've been paying us on a monthly basis, which nobody else is, well, I shouldn't say anything. So they've been very accommodating. The only question they had is, next time you bill us, put the extra 20 million in the construction part, because they approved the 20 million additional. So we are, and again, the city's received the check, and as you can see by the bottom, 85% is 5.3 million. We received 4.8 million, and the state is holding $464,000. Before we go over the payments, we just want to talk about, remember we discussed widening Major Bessie Drive, okay? We met again today with Sue was there, I was there, Mario, and the team was there, and Fucci was there. We are in agreement not to do it during Columbus week because of case of rain. We may not be able to get blacktop down on Monday. So we met, and we're going to start it on Columbus Day, Monday, and it'll be during off hours when both cars, and you want to just explain it?
Sure. Yeah, so looking at how we sequence the work and the potential for what will be a difficult build. So just to take it back a step, we did meet, we got together with SLAM's landscape division, and we finalized where the road gets wider. There's improvements now that go up the side of the road, all on the right-hand side. And then the teardrop top, where the turnaround and drop-off area is, we've also included a small scope of work that increases the width there and creates kind of a drive-through to the back, allowing better traffic flow to go and continue while other cars are queued. So the plan got finalized. I made a couple of copies if anybody wants to take a look at it. Happy to share my knowledge of it. So the contractor got that for pricing. The contractor looked at the scope of work and came back to us and said, you know, this is really something that's going to be tight to fit in that 3-day weekend. If we go for it, if anything comes up or hiccups us and we're not able to pave on Monday, we have an area that's torn up. And so it's a better program to do the work incrementally during the 8:30 to 1:15 or 8:15 to 1:15 daily, and just take a piece out and work. They're going to work from the bottom to the top. There's about 3 days worth of work that happens off the road where we create the wider shoulder and create a new sidewalk. And then there's 2, probably 3 days, worst case 4 days, where they have to have traffic control. And between 8:15 and 1:15, there'll be one-way traffic. They'll have control, they'll have flagmen at top and bottom to allow that to happen. What it builds for us is a confidence that it can happen without impact. There's a lot of walkers and there's a lot of foot traffic that needs to be on safe ground every day at 1:15. So to take a piece out and put a piece back in it wouldn't be asphalt, it would be processed aggregate, it would be solid, stable walking surface. And it only extends the duration. At worst case, it's about 2 weeks. We could do it we'll be paving on probably Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week. When we pave, it's a 1-day shot where we come in and and pave out the wider 4 feet of road and pave out the sidewalk. That's a better plan for, and believe me, Sue had reservations. We wanted to go for it. We really, there was some impetus to go for it. There's some cost of, inefficiency with trying to get the work done over the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But it's really not, the financial side of it is not a huge number. It's more about the confidence that we have that we can build it once, build it right, build it under control, rather than hoping we can get it done in the 3 days.
And that would help even need it then. once the main is built.
Correct, that road actually goes away in its entirety. So what you do is when you turn right on Major Bessie Drive now, and you head up to the school, right after our construction fence, there's kind of a low spot, and trees and all that. That's where Major Bessie Drive will get constructed. And so, yeah, actually that work is part of the early site work sequence. So you'll see all those trees come down all the way up to your property line on the east side. And then a large retaining wall gets constructed to bring that up to grade, and that gets all filled and constructed. March or so, you'll see a rough grade that looks like a road there.
So that was it for information. We don't have the price yet.
Yeah, we got the price, we didn't like the price, we get the price back.
That's a good question. Will that impact if people need to come and pick kids up, like, just say someone gets sick and their parents have to come pick them up?
Yeah, so
Will
there
it be a passable?
there always is gonna be a 14-foot wide travel path.
It'll just be one way and they'll be.
Right, you might have a couple cars queue for a couple minutes, and then they'll be released to go up there. But at all times, we don't need much of that road to build it. Most of the work is on one's shoulder. It's only the 2 days where we actually cut and remove the curb and build the little curb section that we're actually in the driveway.
So if there's an emergency, people will be able to access. either
That
way.
was my question.
That was the primary question. Yeah, similar to any type of road work. If an emergency vehicle is coming, and the guy on one end of the radio stops the traffic at the other side, tells them when there's nobody else coming, what's the last vehicle, and the emergency vehicle gets.
For information.
Yep.
Next one is a payment. There are 2 invoices. There was one in the set for tri-state material for $891.13. This is our material testing person who comes in, Zach, who works for ONG, sets up the dates, and they come in and he verifies that these are it. And we get the reports.
Most of those are your paving from the temporary lot.
Have a motion to approve $891.13. Pat, second. Donna? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next one is I just gave you, just received it this afternoon, ONGs. Next to last one for the extended pre-construction approval for $17,246. Have a motion? Pat and Armand. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Before we go into executive session, I just want to tell you about a couple of dates. We're going to have another joint meeting on October 13th. And then we have to go to city council on October 17th. I'll send this out. Also, I'd like to know if everybody's available on October 22nd, which is a Saturday, for a groundbreaking ceremony. During the day is a Saturday. We figured during the week would not be advantageous because of school and because of getting dark and because of, if we did it early, some people can't make it because they work. So we figured October 22nd. So if you can put that on your calendar.
It's fine. I have a wedding.
Oh.
You're not gonna make everyone's schedule work.
Yeah.
We'll probably do, it'll probably be 11 o'clock. We'll do it outside and then setting up for hors d'oeuvres inside. And we're gonna invite everybody who has helped us, the mayor, our representative, people who are in City Hall, who have helped us, and so forth. So I'll get a brochure out. So we'll do that. So right now, I'll put that as a save the date.
And can you provide the menu a little better too?
Yeah.
And can you just give me a minute to adjourn the board meeting?
Sorry?
Adjourn the board
No, I would like to have the board here in the executive session.
Oh, you want to?
Yes, yes,
So you're inviting the board.
correct.
Yes.
So do I need a motion or how?
Yeah.
Yeah, motion to.
Okay, I have a motion to go into executive session and invite the Board of Ed members.
Before you go into
Yeah.
executive session, would you like the numbers on this?
Okay.
Existing questions?
Yeah.
725 is your largest. Your smallest is 550, and most of them seem to be in the 670 range. 670.
So 550.
550 was the smallest
Smallest.
estimate. It's way at the end of that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That,
Yeah,
that
I
wing
just-
over there.
Existing building.
That's- those are-
So the largest is 725.
The largest are
And these are
725.
750.
I think 675, 670 is about your typical.
Okay.
Currently here,
Current.
right across the way there.
Yeah.
In
The
that
new
hallway.
building,
But the new building.
745, I
The
think.
new building, 745 is the.
So they're bigger than
so
what
they're
we have.
larger.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's because of the way people teach. We expect flexibility.
Don't remember those in the classrooms in high school.
I can count them. Well, but see, I don't know what gets used as a class and what gets used as health class and what. Yeah.
But you also have to be careful that because your buildings are bigger than the new buildings.
Exactly. Compare apples to apples.
There's an issue there.
That makes.
Okay.
What, excuse me?
You want to go and take a motion?
Yes, we have a motion to go into.
I just want to make one comment, just as you had iterated, I did want to express our appreciation to, Ed and Mario and those on the committee and design team who really helped. Again, Brian too, we appreciate the cooperation. It's a lot of information, a lot of commitment, so we do appreciate that. And it's the group effort that closed a budget gap in a very short period of time. It was remarkable, really was, so, thank you.
Now that there's a little bit of work to make it.
Inking it, hey, that's great.
Okay, there was an option for October 29th.
You want to do the 29th?
Can people do the 29th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that what we need?
No, no, well, it's on Monday.
Halloween is the 31st.
Okay, so October 29th is a Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday.
If the kids
Okay.
Still waiting to hear the menu.
You have to come either way.
Okay,
Bring your own food, Jen.
is everybody okay with the 29th?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes, great.
Have a motion to go in executive session again. With
Inviting
inviting in the Board of Ed members.
So,
Armand, have a second?
Yeah, but your part.
What?
So, no, just board, they're just the board.
Just the board.
Just I mean the board.
No.
Good try, Sue, good try.
Nice try.
Have a good night, thank you.
Thank you.
I moved it.
I'll second.
Yeah, everyone.
At 6:33.
Thank you. Thank you very much.